Good day, class. So, welcome to week two of our construction management lecture. So, let's look at the risks and uncertainties in project management. So, risks and uncertainties are common predicaments in project management, but are often challenging opportunities both for the project manager and the project management team. So the difference between risk and uncertainties is that uncertainties refer to events or activities which does not necessarily present indefinite negative impact on the project and sometimes produce future business and learning opportunities, whereas risks represent those which hinder the overall objectives of the project. So with reference to Eddington lecture in Gao, they describe risks as known unknowns and uncertainties as unknown unknowns. So decrypting project uncertainties are a challenge because there is little information available to quantify and predict its occurrence. According to several project management authors like William, Eden, Ickerman, Howick, Shenhar, and Eppinger, they describe the most common project management tools such as Gantt charts, program and evaluation review technique diagrams or PERT diagrams, critical path method as insufficient methods in describing the context of those which are considered as unknowns in a project. So it is therefore important to ascertain the parts of the project structure which are common sources of uncertainties, since uncertainties are hard to quantify. So with reference to Ellsberg and Raffia and Lucy, they categorize uncertainty as one of the four decision conditions, namely risk, ambiguity, certainty, and uncertainty. It is important for a project to have little unknowns as possible because the quality of information available on a project is inversely proportional to uncertainty. So this is true, class, especially if you are building uh, uh, if you are constructing or building something. That's what I mean. So it is important that you must have as little uncertainties as possible, and you should understand what you're going to do with the project, including how you're going to handle the manpower, the resources, and other stuff. Okay, because if there are certain uncertainties, such as what you call this, uncertainties in technology, you're going to have a hard time during the implementation phase, and there's a possibility the project might fail. So, in the past company we used to work, a common risk identification tools we use include brainstorming and checklist. So Friday and Saturday evening meetings with the CEO are common in the organization but limited only to the core management group. So that term aleatoric uncertainty was coined by Elms, which describe future states that can only be described by probabilities of occurrence but cannot be formulated with certainty. Its extreme equivalent is called ambiguity, which characterizes the lack of project definition and is subject to a variety of interpretations. But according to Pitch et al., the heightened lack of information leads to a condition called chaos. Since uncertainty is difficult to identify in a project, it is therefore important to formulate indicators which determine its quantifiable sources. With reference to Pitch et al. 2002, two characteristics were associated with project uncertainty, namely complexity and familiarity. Complexity refers to the interrelationships between activities. The two most basic sources of uncertainty in the project structure are the number of activities and total project duration. The former is an indicator of complexity, and the latter determines the possible variations in events and changes. According to MacLean, there are three more additional sources of uncertainty, which can be quantified, such as complex interdependencies among activities, limited or lack of knowledge of project durations, and unfamiliarity with the project. Altogether, these five sources of uncertainty make up the quantifiable aspect of uncertainty during the initiation stage of the project. One of the crucial aspects of risk management is prioritizing between risks. A set of risks should be identified in a project and arranged according to importance. However, prioritization of risk, according to my experience, will differ between the members of the project management team and the project owner, as each and every individual involved in the process have different goals, skills, mindsets, and motives. So the research of Turner and Miller shows that the goal of the project management team is to deliver the project on time, on budget, and on schedule, while the project owner is more concerned with the alignment of the project with the organization's goals and objectives. This relationship between the project owner and the management team oftentimes create a conflict of priorities. According to Turner, there are four rules which are generally related to a project, namely the sponsor, the champion, the manager, and the integrator. According to Bartlett, risk and uncertainty management comprise a very important component of project management, and I agree with this statement because projects, as unique endeavors, require thorough synthesis and analysis to succeed. So, in my experience, we'd often start with a basic idea. The basic idea will be expounded and broken into several segments. So the role of the CEO or project owner is important because he would be the one to set the general direction and funding of the project, while the managers set the specific project objectives within the desired scope and cost. The levels of risk and uncertainties are uncovered at each and every meeting level of the core group because each and every member of the core management team are professionals in a unique field. When quantifying the risk and uncertainties of a project, the meeting would comprise of a financial analyst, a marketing expert, an engineering expert, the CEO, and an uninvited representative of the business sector. So during project initiation, we would often discuss for hours our ideas and concepts. So during these periods of aspects of the projects like trade regulations, codes, future business opportunities, recent trends in architectural design, probable project cost would be discussed, and it's an excellent way to uncover hidden risks and opportunities. So this is something that we did back, I think, 12 to 15 years ago class. So attached here is a diagram of the site development plan I made we used during a brainstorm activity for a proposal for a big company. So this was a long time ago. I think it's 10 to 15 years. So the sample of a site development plan concept. So this is just an initial concept class. Uh, though it's scaled, because the base I based this on the AutoCAD file. Again, you cannot see the dimensions or here. So at this stage, we conceptualize this project with a lot of other professionals so that we'll have a proposal that encompasses everything from the project cost, the design character, the project requirements, etc. So analysis of project management components and its impact on project managers. So the keystone in PPM, project portfolio management, is not to ensure the best performance of a single project, but to make sure resources are optimized throughout projects by proper structuring, thereby allowing effective and efficient coordination of the organization's collection of projects. So in recent years, literature on project management developed a more strategic perspective, thus moving the focus from the PPM to the organizational level, PBOs, project-based organizations. So there are a significant amount of claims from scholars that organizations of their core operations on as PBOs gain better results in dynamic environments. So according to a report by the Deutsche Bank entitled The New Challenges for a Land on Expedition, they forecasted that the project economy will deliver 15% of all value creation in Germany. This means that projects are also important components in the economic development of a nation. So similar projects, when grouped and categorized together, constitute a program. Stratton, in 2012, defined program management as the coordination of related component projects. Even with the close interrelationships of the projects, it is likewise important also for organizations to prioritize them according to their strategic value. So a clear and articulated set of objectives, therefore, are needed in order for an organization to properly manage a portfolio of projects. So one of the recognized approaches to measure the effectiveness of an organization's portfolio management capabilities is through a maturity model. Because like human beings, it is believed that organizations learn over time. A maturity indicator for organization is the establishment of a PMO or a project management office to guide and support project managers and strengthen its business value. The dynamic business environments in which organizations thrives means that the portfolio management needs to be dynamic mechanisms in order to cope up. The link which exists between projects include common deliverables, shared resources, shared data or information, and shared technology. This means that learnings in previous projects should be applied to another set of similar projects. For example, in my past company, we learned that applying concrete additives significantly reduced the amount of time for curing of the concrete, and it later translated to savings in labor, and thereby increasing overall income for the project. Such technology was then applied to other sets of projects to produce the same results and benefit the organization's business agenda. An example for shared resources in an organization related to construction would be skilled labor. We would often schedule and allocate specific time constraints for our workers specializing in wood stain effects, granite countertops, and cabinets. It would mean that materials for interior finishes are given utmost priority and the purchasing will oftentimes be procured ahead of schedule to accommodate the needs of the project. So in the past organization I belong to, we have identified interior works to be the most intricate process of the construction process, partly due to my design principles and concepts. So as part of the shared technology component, I have encountered in the past for the field of construction with the use of forms and scaffoldings. Each project we have would require this, and therefore it was important to keep track of each and every project schedule. I would keep a record of incoming projects within the next 3 months and a record of ongoing projects. It was important to make sure that the utilization of forms and scaffoldings would be maximized and shared across projects as they mean a margin of income of 15%. So to keep track of progress, meetings were regularly held once a week with the site engineers and senior management. The projects would also be organized and according to the client type. So we have done extensive research in the types of clients we'd encounter. So we classified them as professionals, doctors, dentists, and lawyers, overseas workers, seamen, and other contract workers, foreigners who married locals, businessmen, expats, and corporate clients. So each and every client would act and behave differently with regards to the project. So project engage with them. And we would formulate a marketing strategy to make sure we provide them with the best service and also attain the business objectives of the organization. Okay, so this I think we are done for this week class. So I'll just stop here. Then we're going to have an activity regarding the London Heathrow Terminal 5 project. So stay tuned at our Padlet link. And if you have further questions or clarifications, you can send an email to me or contact me. Okay? So stay safe and see you next meeting.